Hi everybody, this is Jennifer with Park Place Child Life Center. I have a great lesson to share with you all today. This week we handed out artist trading cards to the kids in our community. And with the cards they all got black pens. We've been working with our Saturday kids online to create a series of artist cards. So basically artist trading cards are 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. And you can make these yourself at home if you don't have the kits that we gave you or gave out. And it was created in Switzerland by an artist who made these for all the friends that came to his gallery so they could all have handmade art. And it's the only rules is it has to be 2.5 by 3.5, fit in one of these sleeves, and it's supposed to be traded and swapped, not sold. We have these created with these backings, but if you don't have one, all you have to do is put the title, the artist, and the date on the back, and then you have an official artist trading card. Now, this week we decided to do a graphic design lesson for Black Lives Matter movement. Now, graphic design is a design using words, and it's made for conveying information. So here's a little directions that I made, and you see it looks very neat and orderly. You can read it clearly. We grabbed a couple of things off the internet that represent Black Lives Matter, and these are great graphic designs because look how easy you can read it. You can see exactly what it says, and it's very clear. That's the nature of a good graphic design. So we also put together some slogans, and we did this with our students on Saturdays, and we have some really great examples I'm going to show you real quick. These were sent to us by a student and her mom, and you can see that she made up her own slogan. Show your beautiful black smile to the world. Show them who you are. Here's a beautiful one that's decorated. So instead of just being real bold, this shows a lot of the artist's personality. Why does it matter what my skin tone looks like? This is really nice. I mean, this is made by a young lady, and she has questions that she's asking. Why must you judge me by my skin? Black Lives Matter. I will fight until things are right. Does anybody know what this one means? That's how long that they held down that young man who was murdered. 8 minutes and 43 seconds. All right. Here are some that my assistants and I made. And you can see that they also have many different ways. Here's one that kind of goes with the tribal patterns and really bright colors. Black love is what she says here. So you don't have to use the same slogans. This one was done with cutout letters. Super cool. And that's what's great about an artist trading card. You can use any material that you want. And I love how she has the matter kind of falling apart down here. Let's see. Here's one that I made. I saw this slogan at a protest, and I made it, I may be white, but I fight for Black Lives Matter. And I drew the iconic fist, but I gave everyone there a different skin color because we are all in this together. And I thought it was really a powerful slogan to use. Now, let's take a look at this one. This is the one that I'm going to show you how to do right now. And I'll go ahead and set this aside. If you have a black pen, you're going to have a nice thin line like this. If you have a black Sharpie, you'll have a thicker line. Either one is fine. I recommend you start with a black pen. And let's see what our little instructions say. Make a card that helps you share your thoughts about the movement to end racism. Draw a border around the edge. Now, when you're working with graphic design, it's always nice to draw a border. And the reason is, it will draw attention to what is within the card. and makes it more noticeable. Just like you put your picture in a frame, this kind of frames your card. Now if you make a big, you could do zigzag or however you want, but just remember, the bigger your frame, the less room you have on the inside. Now let's do this. This is going to be cool. Now some people say, oh, I don't know how to do bubble letters. Well, that's what my students usually call this. But basically what you're doing is you're turning a line into a shape. So in other words, this is a line, but this is a shape. So I just drew a square shape onto this card. Well, watch how we're going to go ahead and do the B. So notice that I try to keep the border around the edge the same all the way. That is a good tip for graphic design. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the B. Now watch how I do this. I'm going to say the same distance. And that's just a B, but I didn't bring that all the way in. Pretty easy, right? Now let me do the L. Same thing, just a regular L. Now I'm going to do an M. Now the M, I'm going to have to squeeze in here because it's a large letter. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw a D. Now see how wide that is? I'm going to try to make the same width. This is how we're going to create some visual repetition inside of our letters. That's what makes things look good. So all I'm doing is turning these lines of these letters into shapes. And there you go. I've got my BLM all ready to go. Now I really like the way this came out with these letters in here, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to write, now I could write something else. I could write beautiful, 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 or beautiful Black Lives all in this. But I'm just going to do it the same way I had before because I like it. Maybe I'm going to do it differently this time. I'm going to write, have it go around like this. There is really no wrong way of doing it because you're the artist. You just, however you're doing it, just try to be consistent because it forms what we call a texture. I mean, it will give it a special look with all these letters added in. And I'll just do the lives in here. Now, if you can think of something else you want to write, you are the artist. You can write whatever you want. Now, the goal is with these is to not just make it, but to make some, save some, and guess what I want you to do? I bet you can guess. I want you to go online and post these with the hashtag Black Lives Matter or hashtag BLM. And then you become part of the movement. It's just that simple. You've stated your thoughts, and you can do, if it as it relates to you, whatever you think is important to say and share with others. Of course, you don't want to be like violent, really, because that could get you in trouble. So we want to keep it positive as possible. And there we go. Now, because this is so this is white, this is black, and this is gray, we want to have a contrast. So what I did was I took a red Sharpie. Let me see if I have it right here. Yes, I do. And I did what's called stippling. Now, stippling is where you put dots next to each other. And what's the beauty of this is you can put a lot of dots close to the red there, so it will show up. Or you can just do a little bit of dots like this. It's up to you. And you notice on here, I kept the dots pretty tight next to the letters. And I just like the use of the red because it has a lot of symbolism to it. So you would just keep going like that. Now, if you want to, could you color in the whole background red? Sure, you just color it all in. And it's going to show up pretty good because you've got that white inside the letters. The one thing you do not want to do is get it to where it's too dark so it doesn't show up. So you see that shows up really, really well. All right, I want to show you one more thing before we call it a day. And one of the things that I enjoyed doing was we made masks for Black Lives Matter rally, and it was really neat. We gave them out to everyone at the rally, over 50 masks for people to wear so they could stay safe. So here's the mask right here, the fist. And a lot of people, what's hard about drawing this fist is, well, number one, a lot of people have trouble drawing hands, but number two, the lines are made with white. And that's because the hand is black, and that's important. So we don't want the outline to be black and the hand to be white, because that takes away the whole meaning of the thing. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to sketch it here, and if you look at this, you see it's basically a square shape or a diamond shape. So we'll sketch that out carefully. Okay, yeah, you can see that pretty good. And when my students are always trying to draw stuff perfectly, and I'm like, no, just draw it really fast, sketch it in, and that's basically going to be giving you what you want. So you see that there's a line here, and a line here, and then this kind of jig-jags and goes up. Bring this down a little bit. Now you can always erase as you need. And this is just a sketch. So basically, once you get that shape, you see that about halfway, maybe a little more than halfway, is the thumb. And it goes like that. And then this is just one square drawn, two squares drawn, and it kind of goes underneath there. But I found it was easier to make it so it just ended up here, just for simplification's sake. Now the last one, notice, kind of goes sideways, and that's because it's the pinky finger. So it goes like that. And now draw that edge right there, and it looks like it goes 1, 2, square. Now when I colored this in, basically what I'm going to do is color in all those shapes. Again, we're going to leave the white lines behind. And that's what makes this a little bit hard to draw, okay? And you'll see in just a second how cool this is going to look. And that's what artists can do. They can analyze how things were created so that they can create it themselves in their own way. And I'm not sure who designed this logo. Logos are usually copyrighted. But there's a lot of information on the internet saying that none of these Black Lives Matter things are copyrighted because it was a movement that wasn't really owned by anyone. So as you color these in, you will see that you have the fist. So I encourage you to try to practice this. You can look up the fist online. Just look up Black Lives Matter logo and you will see it. And you will see how easy it is to do. You can make, once you know how to draw it, you can make stickers. You can make artist trading cards. You can draw this, if you wanted to, on one of your shirts. If you use a Sharpie like this, it will be permanent. It won't come off. You can get fabric markers. There's all kinds of things that you can do to show that you're supporting the end of racism and oppression in our country for people of color. So it's really important that you speak your beliefs and say what you think without fear, and a nice visual image is a good way to do that. So this is the final product. And as you see, if I just erase the pencil marks, I have my Black Lives Matter fist. Okay, so that's it for today. We have our graphic design lesson, how to draw a Black Lives Matter fist, our introduction to artist trading cards, and we hope that maybe you can make some of these. And if you do, please tag us on Instagram, and it would be #PPCLC or @PPCLC, and we're also on Facebook. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time.